Hello, Christina Marie. No, you did not miss a thing. We have not started yet. We are starting right now in just a few seconds. I'm Ken Davenport. This is the Producer's Perspective Live, and we have a treat for you tonight. It is take two on this live stream. We have multiple Tony Award-winning Broadway producer Dori Berinstein with us, founder of the Broadway Podcast Network, putting the Prom on Netflix. We are raising money for the Actors Fund. Thanks for being here. Let's get to it.
We're getting the band back together, getting the boys who rock again. We're getting the band back together, in the midst of a place that remembers when some punks from the suburbs lit the sky with too much reverb. We're getting the band back together.
Hello, everybody. The power is back on and the live stream is back on. Welcome back to the Producer's Perspective Live. Hello, Mike Locke. Yes, happy live stream Tuesday. It's like Taco Tuesday, but there's no alliteration. Live stream Tuesday. I don't know. Hello, Alan. Hello, everybody. Yeah, Christina, sorry we're a couple minutes late. You know, it's like going to the gym. You take a day off and, you know, things are just all screwed up. We took a week off. Dori lost power. We assume it's back on because she's in the waiting room right now, or she got a generator really quick. So we are back tonight. We had a little power problem last week, but we are back. I am thrilled to see you all. Drew, of course, is back. Good old Drew. Thank God. You know, the day Drew doesn't show up, we're in big trouble. The day Drew doesn't show up for a live stream, the pandemic is over. Like, that's it. Drew, when this thing is like, when we get a vaccine, don't come to the live stream. That's the deal, okay? Hello, Chris. Hello, Valerie from Las Vegas. How's everybody doing tonight? How was everybody's week? Good? Everybody good? Lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff. The big thing that I want to talk about today, before we get we bring on Dori, is, and we'll really see how fast Mary is. Mary, put up that hashtag that I told you to put up like a second ago. Yes, look at that. Hashtag Save Our Stages Act. This is a bill that is going through Congress right now that, boy, oh boy, you know, let me tell you something. I never want to be a politician because these guys, I don't get it. I mean, it's a weird thing. Like, so there's been a bill that's like bouncing around. Amy Klobuchar, who, you know, was almost a presidential nominee, she sponsored a bill with someone from Texas, I think. There was a lot of stuff. It's growing, and then it was weird. And like, are we going to be? Is it going to apply to us? Is it not going to apply to us? Guess what? It's going to apply to us. Senator Schumer from New York just signed on to this sucker. That's really good. So we need to support this. So call your senators, call your congressperson, call your neighbors, call everybody, and use that hashtag Save Our Stages Act. This is what is going to help live entertainment, and most importantly, live entertainers, period, get back on their feet. Because that $600 that, I don't know, many of you maybe have received this supplement, the $600 unemployment supplement is gone for the moment, gone. I know our president signed something over the weekend, but who knows if that's going to work. Save Our Stages is a bill that, if it's passed, could help tremendously, specifically the live entertainment industry, the industry that's been hit the hardest. So use that hashtag, Google it, support it. We gotta do something here. Speaking of support, we are still raising money for the Actors Fund because that's probably a much faster way to get some much needed cash into the pockets of entertainers. Never count on politicians to do anything, by the way. You have to count on yourself. It is the entrepreneurial way for sure. It has been a couple weeks since our last episode. We had Stephen Pasquale on a couple weeks ago. Feels like a year ago. Speaking of politics, he's an opinionated guy. So if you want to hear about his opinion about who should be president, I'll give you a hint. Go check out the replays and go check out all the replays. Dori is episode 67. 67 live streams coming at you. So go check them all out. It's actually, I poked around a few. Go watch like episode 5 when we're like, hey, what the heck is going on with this pandemic thing? It's really scary. It'll be over soon, right? It's not over soon. It's still going on. But we're going to get through it. We are going to get through it. So enough of my political monologue for the evening. Let's get to this. It is take number 2. Let's get her on before there's some other disaster that takes place that prevents her from joining us. Please welcome Tony Award-winning producer, the founder of the Broadway Podcast Network, entrepreneur, just like myself, Dori Berinstein. Welcome, Dori.
I'm here. Yay.
Oh,
Hey, Ken, I am so sorry about last week. I felt terrible. It was like Oz, you know, there were like limbs, trees flying, dogs flying, cows out the window. It was really bad. So I'm happy to be here.
How long were you without power?
4 days, and no power, no Wi-Fi, no water. It was a lot.
No Wi-Fi. I mean, that's the worst.
I'm still in recovering.
Yeah, for someone like you who is like you're in as many things as I'm in, you're doing all sorts of stuff. What did you do with no Wi-Fi for 4 days?
I went crazy. Crazy, and I ended up getting in my car and driving to New York City in order to get online because I couldn't stand it. I had to check my email. I had to respond to email. I was in the middle of a lot of things, so I caved and did not just sit there for 4 days without Wi-Fi. I have to be honest.
So speaking of natural disasters, let's go back to the natural disaster that started this whole thing in the first place. Tell me, I've been asking all my guests, where were you? Oh, and I think I know this answer, which is a very interesting one. Tell everyone where you were when the virus hit the fan, when you all of a sudden knew this shit was serious and going to be real and really disrupt the industry, not only the world. Where were you?
We were shooting the movie The Prom in Los Angeles, and everyone started to become aware that this was serious and that we needed to take action, not just for the production. We were going to be shut down, but for everyone personally, and everyone had flown in for the shoot, and you know, how are we going to get home, and what does this mean? It was quite epic.
So this is The Prom that you obviously produced on Broadway, and which I loved, and I have a feeling we have a lot of fans here in the audience. Yeah. Look at that picture. I mean, there's so much joy and just what a celebration, especially, of course, the end of that show. So congratulations on that. An original musical and not easy to do in today's world. But then all of a sudden, in the midst of it, you get scooped up for Netflix. Tell us a little bit about how that happened and tell us where. Let's just flip it and have good news. Where were you when the Netflix hit the fan? Like, I want to hear about that phone call. You were like, really?
Well, it was January, and we heard that Ryan Murphy was coming to the show. My partner, Bill Damashki, and I knew he was coming to the show. We did not tell anybody because, you know, who knows what that would mean. You know, there were a lot of people coming to the show. A lot of studio executives were checking out the show to see if they wanted to turn it into a film. We thought, oh my gosh, this is so perfect for Ryan Murphy. This is perfect, but you never know. But that night we talked to him afterwards, and he's like, I love this. I love this. I love this. This has to happen. But sometimes, you know, you hear that a lot in professional life, and then nothing ever happens. It's Hollywood. But we kept very quiet for a very long time because, you know, to make something like that happen, it's just like, I want to do this. And then between I want to do this and it actually happening is a very, you know, it's a huge roller coaster. And so we kept it all extremely quiet until everything was in place. And that was months and months later. And
yeah, how long did it go from him, like exactly from him seeing the show to the announcement? Because it probably happened pretty quickly. for these kind of deals. I know people that did musicals in 1978 that are still waiting for their deal.
No, it actually, in the way these things work, it happened unbelievably fast. We were ecstatic, but he was there at the show in January, and he made a big announcement in April, roughly
Wow.
mid-April. So, it was a long time to keep a giant secret. But it wasn't really a secret because it could have fallen apart a second. So it's not like it was really definitively happening at any moment in time until that announcement. And that's when we felt, yeah, oh my gosh, it sounds like it's really happening. So, but very, very exciting for it all to come together. And, it's a show that was, for all of us, it was such a passion project and something we all believed in so deeply. And so the idea of this happening and the opportunity to get the message of the show out to the world was just thrilling, and still is to this day. We cannot wait until it opens.
So movie musicals sometimes change from the actual musical itself. How close does it follow the story of the musical without giving too much away?
Yeah, not. I can't talk about it too much, but I will say that given that we have the amazing Bob Martin and Chad Beglin and Matthew Sklar, our creative team from the Broadway show, attached as the creative team for the movie, you can be sure that there are tremendous similarities between the show and the movie, which I'm very happy about, because I think the show they did, it was just beautiful, and to be able to share it with the planet is going to be thrilling.
That's one of the things I was so excited about when I read that announcement, was that you kept the creative team. Like that, because so often, and that Ryan, it's a real just honor to him, because he could have said, I'm going to do this and everybody's out and I'm bringing a new team in. And I'm sure you would have, and everyone would have been like, okay, I mean, we want this message out. We want this to happen. It'd be good for Chad and Bob and Matt and everybody. Everyone would make some money on it. But he kept it, and that's really honorable.
It's amazing, and you're right. So often, it's a shadow of its former self by the time it gets to the big screen. But I think in this case, he really did love the show, the Broadway show, and wanted very much to bring that show to life. And it really was exciting to be able to tell that story in a way that was, a little more three-dimensional, and be able to lift it from the stage to life. And so I think it's not going to disappoint the Broadway fans, because it really is the story. But with a little bit more depth and storytelling.
And you seem to have a real affinity for, or it just so happens that a lot of the projects that you work on Broadway have a very strong footing in the left coast and the right coast. From We Met on Thoroughly Modern Millie, which of course was a very successful movie before it was a musical. You did Legally Blonde, which was the same way. And then of course, look, you learn a lot about people during this pandemic. You learn a lot of things you did not know. And boy, was it fun to watch the making of Dirty Dancing on Netflix. And there you were. So you started in the film industry before coming over to the good side of it, of course. Yes? Well,
I would have started on the good side had I known anyone at all in the world of theater. I knew nobody. I was from LA, and it took quite a while to find my way into the world of theater. And so, yes, I started my career as an investment banker in M&A at Morgan Stanley. And from there, tried to figure out how to get into theater and film happened first. Yes.
And now, so how has that helped? Like you're actively involved with the Prom, right? You were able to say, like, look, I'm not just if they had turned one of my shows into a movie, I'd be like, do you want me to take care of the catering? Because I don't really know what I'm doing. But you can actually, you've produced movies before. Yeah.
I have I love both mediums so much, and for me, it's just all about storytelling, whether it's on stage or on screen or on the web. So I've had parallel lives. I've had parallel lives in, theater and film all the way through my whole career. So moving back and forth between the worlds, and often I love when they collide and Broadway shows become films, or I do documentaries on theater, so when it all comes together, it's nirvana for me.
So tell us about that, because you do wear a lot of hats. You are the definition of an entrepreneur. You've produced some unbelievable documentaries. Carol Channing's documentary. You turned a documentary into a musical with Halftime. You have a Broadway trading card business, which I love. And of course, the Broadway Podcast Network. Why? Listen, I'm a guy who has this, I come up with an idea, I want to do it. Just tell me a little bit about where these ideas come from and how you go about making them happen, even though you've never, I assumed you weren't a trading card professional before you made that.
I'm inspired by you, Ken, because I play your game. I listen to your podcast. I go to your shows. Oh my gosh, so I think probably exactly like you, it's platform agnostic. You get an idea and you get excited about it, and where's the best way to tell this story? And so much of what I do, and I know you do too, is comes from a place of just absolutely loving the theater community and wanting to tell stories about the theater community and wanting to share my love for the theater community. So the Lights of Broadway trading cards that I get to do with the amazing Squigs, Justin Robertson, comes from a place of wanting to share our love for the theater community with the world. And, the idea that people are collecting Elaine Stritch and Bernadette Peters and Brian Stokes Mitchell, just makes me so happy, that I grew up with two brothers that were fiercely into collecting baseball cards. And I did that too. But I remember thinking, where are the theater cards? This is not my passion. Where are the theater cards? And Squigs had the same experience. And we, when we decided to do this, it was really to raise money for theater charities and other charities and to spread our love for theater. And all, the other things, Broadway Podcast Network is very much about creating a platform for people to tell stories about our world, and to, people have a lot of things to say about, how to break into the business, how to audition, theater legends, telling their stories, just amazing podcasts that we have covering all different aspects of theater behind the curtain, and really challenging people's thinking about the world we're living in today. So I am just so excited to be able to help bring the Broadway Podcast Network to everybody, and to give the opportunity for all these great storytellers to have a platform to interview people, to talk to, and now we're going to be launching other ways to, I can't even talk about it, other ways to be, but a lot of different ways to tell the stories and to communicate and to keep our theater community alive, and particularly during this difficult time, connected. And that is the most important thing. And so that we can all stay, really connected as a community and come out stronger on the other end of this when theater returns. And proud to have your podcast on the network. Ken, really proud.
You said two real big takeaways that I wanted to highlight from that, especially for anyone out there who wants to make anything, which is a platform is a platform is a platform. That because a lot of people say, oh, I can't produce a show, or I can't run a restaurant, or I can't make a trading card. So it's the same steps, right? It's the same thing. It's just, that's the same thing I said when I created the board game, which was like, I've never made one before, but it's just one foot in front of the other. It's making things happen. Yeah. And the other thing that I just love that you said is just about this question of where are the Broadway trading cards? If you, anyone out there, if you, oh, look at how good Mary is. She's
Mary.
so good. Like everyone, I wish I had another camera, because what you don't see is, like, when we go to full screen Dory, this is me. Get me a effing picture of the lights on tree. But like, I am like typing up a storm over here, just screaming and throwing things at the screen. Like, come on, Mary. Anyway, she got, put that back up, Mary. Put that back up. So these are these amazing trading cards. Somewhere there's one of me. It's frightening because it's real. But what I love is you said, where are the trading cards? And anyone out there, if you find yourself saying this, where are the and then you find someone else, because you found to find someone who also said the same thing, make the thing.
Yeah. Because
it just means there was probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of people who want it as well.
That's right.
That's how I got to the board game. I was like, oh, there should be a Broadway board game. Wait, there isn't one. Why isn't there one? You fill that void. So I think it's such a great lesson on your part.
Well, it's also, it's that, and it's also like surrounding yourself with amazing people, you know, that can help bring these ideas to life. You know, so partnering with Squigs, or, you know, on the documentary films, just telling stories about people who I just want everybody to know their stories, you know, and they are Peter Kramer, yes, that you know, want them to just help their stories live on and on and on for the next generations.
Yeah, that's terrific. So if you could only pick one of those things to do, which one would it be? Trading cards, podcasts, documentaries, movies, Broadway producing.
Oh my gosh, Ken.
You could only do one.
That's torture. That's torture.
Something else.
I think I would pick Broadway shows. The coming together as a team and bringing a show to life, even though it's really hard and it takes years, nothing brings me greater joy. You know, to be in the back of the house and hear that audience just completely connect with the story that's being told on stage, nothing makes me happier. And you know, that these shows live on in all sorts of different ways, and that they're performed in high school. I love that so much. And sometimes they become movies. You know, I think that would be my choice, as hard as it would be, because there's nothing like live theater.
So what makes you sign on to a project? Like, why the Prom? Why early March? Like, what makes you go like, this one, I need to do this one?
Well, as you know, theater is so challenging, but when there's a story and a team of people, and you can say to yourself, you know, if I'm not part of this, I will be tortured, and I will be so upset not to help bring this story to life, then it's something that you have to do. It's just something you have to do. And, you know, you're making a commitment when you choose to do something that takes years and years and years. And with the Prom, I met Casey when we were doing Thoroughly Modern Millie, and we stayed in touch, and we always talked about doing something together. And Casey invited me to dinner with Bob Martin and Chad Beglin and Matthew Sklar, and they pitched the idea to me. And at that point, it was literally you know, 2 lines that Jack Fertel had come up with. Jack Fertel being an incredible producer, visionary theater icon, and they said, what do you think? And I'm looking at these geniuses, and I'm hearing a glimpse of a story that is about such an important topic that I just feel, yes, I have to help tell this story. And you know, these amazing storytellers are sitting right in front of me. How can I not, you know, join the team and help bring this to life? So it literally was at a dinner, and it was 2 lines, and Bill Damashki joined me very, very quickly, and we were off and running. And, you know, literally 8 years later, it opened on Broadway. But these things take time.
Do you remember what the 2 lines were? Because what a pitch that must have been. Like, what a log line if it like hooked the lead producer.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. You know, it had me at prom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, immediately I'm like, oh wait, Ken made a fantastic musical about a prom, but this is very, very different. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Mine
yeah,
just got a bunch of girls from New Jersey drunk every Saturday night. It was like New York's bachelor party destination. It's a little different, little
right.
different. So I have finally, it's taken me weeks to remember to take questions. The problem is I get so fascinated by what my guests are saying. I just forget, guys. I'm just sorry. So Mary, again, when Dori goes to full screen, I'm screaming at Mary. She's also screaming at me, saying, "Take an effing question, for God's sake." So we bring them in live. So we have one of our wonderful viewers here, Adam Schwab, who we're going to bring in right now, who's going to ask a question to you live.
Terrific.
Here you go.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Dori.
Hey, Adam.
I love the halftime soundtrack, and I listen to it all the time. And I wanted to know how challenging it was to bring the soundtrack to make it happen, even though the show never transferred to Broadway.
Oh, what a great question. Thank you for asking it. Yes, it's an amazing soundtrack. The halftime was at the Paper Mill Playhouse, and we had a lot of people from the music industry come and see it, and we had many opportunities to make a cast album. And you know, whatever the future of the show was going to be, we knew that had to happen. The music by Matthew Sklar and Chad Begelin and Nell Benjamin, sorry, Nell Benjamin and Matthew Sklar. And Bob Martin, similar team to Prom, just was so magnificent. And also Esther Dean was very, very much involved in that, and Marvin Hamlish as well. And the score was so incredible, and then brought to life by our cast that included Lilias White and Andre de Shields and Georgia Engel and so many other amazing artists. We just felt that it needed to have life as a soundtrack. And Sony joined us, Sony Masterworks, and the amazing Scott Farthing joined us, and Donna McKechnie, I forgot to mention, oh my gosh. It's a magnificent soundtrack. I listen to it constantly. It inspires me so much. And I love it. Everyone should go check it out. Halftime, the musical, directed by Jerry Mitchell. Thank you for bringing that up. It's a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's truly a great score. And Mary's digging up some links right now to throw into the chat so everyone can go and stream it wherever they stream music, and go check out the website. So let's bring up the elephant in the room. When do you think we're coming back? Like what do you think?
Oh,
No one's ever asked you that question before. So
you know, Ken, that you've done 67 of these live podcasts is incredible, and I wish you would only have 67, but I think you're going to have many more. I think that it's going to be a while. You know, I think the Broadway community is very committed to making sure that everybody on stage is safe, backstage is safe, the orchestra pit is safe, and most importantly, the audience is safe. And so when Broadway comes back, we're going to be ready, but it's going to be a while. In the meantime, you know, with all the storytelling that's out there on the Broadway Podcast Network and all the great art that's being created online, which is so inspiring and so exciting, we can keep theater in our hearts and front of mind and be very involved in it. And when it comes back, we should all just like race to the theater. I cannot wait.
yeah, it's going to be a magical night for sure. So you're always thinking ahead. You're always looking at what's next, and it sounds like you've got something bubbling that you can't talk about yet. But what? I mean, you're a great forecaster. You're a great early adopter. You see trends. How do you think this is going to affect our industry? Like, what do you see as being the theater for the next decade or two after this?
Such a good question. You know, I think that we're all realizing how precious live theater is. And I think we all miss it so much, and the incredible art that helps us, you know, that inspires us, that transports us. And I think that as amazing as it is to listen to soundtracks or see a production on Netflix or the Disney Channel or whatever, there's nothing like being there live. It's ephemeral and it's fleeting and it's beautiful, and it's, you know, every performance is unique, and that it's not going to be the same the next night. I mean, that live theater feeling and being there in a room with all sorts of other people is just such a precious, beautiful experience. I think it's going to be valued even more. And I think that, you know, it might not, you know, turn the light switch on and all of a sudden, boom, it's exactly as it was in early March. But I think that when it comes back, I think the audience is going to be so hungry to experience it and make it a priority in their lives. And I think I'm so excited for live theater to return regionally and into schools. And I just think it will heighten everything. And I know that the people in the Broadway community are so busy creating right now that there's going to be a backlog of amazing shows that are ready and waiting to come in. So there's going to be a lot of new shows, a lot of new artists, a lot of important stories to tell also about the world we're living in. And art, you know, has an incredible way of, I think, enlightening everyone, changing the way people see the world. And I think that theater as a place for important conversation is going to be really front and center. And I'm very, very excited about that. And so all the plays and musicals that are to come that are going to change lives are going to happen very quickly, because I know there's amazing work that's brewing right now.
I love your positivity and your incredible attitude. And actually, that's what I love about your resume, if you will, of Broadway shows, from Thoroughly Modern Millie to Legally Blonde to the Prom. These are stories about very strong women overcoming unbelievable odds, but halftime, even the celebration and the joy, dare I say, the joy of the show, of the shows. It just blows the roof off these theaters. So that's why I always look forward to a Dori Berinstein production. How, in this pandemic, which, let's face it, it's a roller coaster for even the most positive of people, what tips can you give to everyone watching right now to stay positive during this crazy time when you just want to sometimes bang your head against the wall?
Well, you know, I think what we're finding is that the human race is unbelievably resilient. And it's just like, how quickly did it happen that all of a sudden all this great art was being created online, you know, and productions and incredible concerts and events and everything. So, you know, I think that I've been so blown away by how creative everybody has been during this time. And I think that for me, you know, don't stop creating, don't stop enjoying live theater, even if it's on your computer. You know, it's a little different, but it's still engaging and it's still immersive. And, you know, it's, I also think that there is more opportunity than ever to self-produce stories online and be inventive about it, whether or not it's short form, you know, and even TikTok videos, or I guess that's a dangerous thing to say right now, but you know, all sorts of creative ways to tell stories and to challenge people to think and I be creative. You know, it's exhilarating to create something from a blank page, and it's just so much fun to share it with people and to engage in a conversation. And so make things happen and keep theater alive during this time, because it's you know, the show will be back. Theater will be back, and we just are having a very long intermission right now. But play Ken's game. That's a good thing to do.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being here and spreading that unbelievable message and the optimism, and for all the stuff you're doing. Everyone out there, I will just say if you need a dose of theater, go to Broadway Podcast Network. There's just so many unbelievable episodes now from so many unbelievable theater people that you know and love that are just spilling their guts and interviewing their friends. It's fantastic. So go check it out. They're all in one place. This is one of those ideas that I was like, there should be a Broadway podcast network. And then someone much smarter than me made it. So go check it out. Thanks for being here, Dori.
Thank you so much, Ken.
I have to go now answer a text from your daughter, by the way. She's all a very, very talented director in her own right. So we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
It's true, by the way. Her daughter is just texting me right now, which means she's probably not watching her mom on my live stream, which means she's in big trouble. Thanks so much to Dori for being here. Do check out the Broadway Podcast Network. Do go look for my trading card on the Lights of Broadway. There's lots of her documentaries are fantastic. So go check that out. Mary will put some more links up and we'll get them out to you. We are back. I hope you enjoyed that episode. We will be here again next Tuesday. Who do we got next Tuesday? Someone big and famous. Brian Stokes Mitchell, Tony Award winning actor, the head of the Actors Fund. He went through COVID himself. He's got lots to talk about next week. So he'll be here to talk about everything that he's been doing. And he's been doing a lot. An amazing man, another unbelievably positive, passionate person that can advocate for so many things. So come back next week to be here for Stokes, as we call him. And what else? Oh, I keep forgetting also to talk about, so we launched a couple weeks ago. We put tickets finally are available now for our Theater Makers Summit. So if you like to hear folks like Dori, and Dori I think is speaking, right? Yes, both of them are nodding backstage to me. Dori has already, and there's her daughter, Sammy. Sammy is also speaking. We got a 2-for-1 there. So the Theater Makers Summit, we do this every year. This is our 4th year. We're getting a slew of theater makers. And what's great, it's virtual this year, of course, and we're getting them from all over the world. A-list theater makers from all over the world, all about how theater is going to be in the new world. So if you're enjoying conversations like the one we had tonight with Dori, we're going to really get into it. We've got some really famous moderators as well from the press that are going to ask some serious questions, like much more serious than I do, like real important things that you can actually learn from instead of hearing about Pinkberry. So you've got to go check that out, theatermakersummit.com, and get your ticket now. We've been pricing it in a way that it's cheaper, of course, when you do it in advance. So go check that out. I'm very, very excited. We've never done it virtually. I was a little nervous about it. I'm super excited about it now because, frankly, everyone can join. There are people here like, our friend Drew, who's from Baltimore, right, Drew? You're here still. Drew from Baltimore may not have come up. Now you can check it out. And Drew will be there, I know, because he's always here until this is over. Then I don't want to see you, Drew, for like a year. I don't want to see you, but we can email. That's it. We have always go out with something to make you smile. We always go out with this. And we're going to do that today as well. Matthew Scott's If I Ruled the World. So Matthew Scott is the education director of an incredible organization called Broadway Dreams. Incredible organization. Go check it out. Oh, I just see Drew's like, Ken, I went to your conference last year. Of course I came up from Baltimore. What a good guy you are. Look at that. So Matthew Scott, Broadway Dreams, he pulled a whole bunch of his students together to do this song, If I Ruled the World, which is these students singing about their hopes and dreams for a better and more inclusive world. Incredible video. Again, hopeful and joyous and inspirational, and also a little bit telling us how we need to treat each other and what we need to do in all of our lives to just make this a better place. That's, I think, something to go out on and something to make you smile. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with Brian Stokes Mitchell. Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you then.
We're getting the band back